So the Costa Whittaker fight that we were so excited for called off. So even more headlines this week because we have a big one on our hands. So the Costa Whittaker fight that we were so excited for called off. Let me know what you think. As of yet, it is currently put down to Costa having a bad flu, is what's come out. Hasn't been said that it's COVID. You can do the math from that, whether it is or not. They don't know whether they're going to replace the fighter or if Whittaker's going to be taken off the card and they're going to try and run it back on a later date. Let me know what you think on it.
It's gutting, really, because I was very intrigued for this fight. I wanted to see how Costa would bounce back from that loss, but I hope they reschedule it. I feel like this is the right fight to make. Two guys that have both lost to the champion sort of fighting to get back in that mix. So I do feel like this is the right fight. I feel like they will risk it because it's a good stylistic matchup. But yeah, I'm gutted. Costa's probably got COVID, let's be honest. And yeah, he needs a win for sure because his stock has definitely taken a dive after not only the performance but the whole aftermath of the Adesanya thing. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts when you found out?
You're right. I think we're used to the whole build-up of a title fight, and then obviously someone has to lose. And if someone's been doing an extra lot of talking in that sort of build-up, then they get a few looks after the fight. But like you said, I think he got even more after he sort of came out a couple of months after and said, "Oh, it was because of this and this and this." So it was a very interesting fight to see how he's going to bounce back after all of that, because there were a lot of people waiting in the wings to sort of smite him down again. So yeah, it is upsetting. I think I can't see Whittaker staying on that card and taking on another fight. Doesn't really need to. It's just going to come down to whether he wants to stay busy or not, because obviously he's sitting at the top of the tree at the moment. Doesn't really need to take another fight, but also who is there to take in that division? Obviously, there's a couple of people either just fought or already tied up. There's nothing really in that division that he needs to prove.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
It's just going to be a case of whether he needs whether he wants a payday or not, really, for Whittaker, I think.
Yeah, there's quite a few fights I think that need to play out, in order for like a clear contender to emerge. But Whittaker's been doing work since the Adesanya loss. Like he would have taken this fight. He's beat Till and Cannonier, so his track record speaks for itself. He's not looking for any easy fights, but he is in that sort of upper echelon of the division, if you will, that he's at the point where he doesn't really need to be fighting the sort of, well, Derek Brunson's got to fight, but like the Derek Brunsons of the world, right? The sort of lower ranked guys that aren't in that conversation. So I think he'll wait. I think he'll rematch it with Costa, and I think it's a good fight for him, to be honest. I think it could end up being somewhat target practice for him out there. So I think he'd be smart to wait, and I think that's what we'll do.
I think for Bobby Knuckles, like you
love
touched
that nickname.
upon, yeah, it's a good one.
That nickname,
like you just sort of touched upon, I can't honestly see, if I'm going to be honest, at the moment how everything's played out, there isn't really a fight for him in that division. I don't think, outside of Costa. So I think they're going to have to wait on it. Everyone's tight. You've got Till and Vittori obviously tied up. And then obviously you've got the people that he's already beaten in there, and then you've got the Brunson Holland that's already tied up. So it could be interesting to see what would happen if that fight is still off the cards, if Costa's still not available, and then you've got the Till Vittori, which is obviously just around the corner, and then you've got the Brunson Holland fight, which is next week.
Saturday,
and let's speak hypothetically here. If Kevin Holland takes the win, we know he's someone that can take a fight on a last sort of seconds notice. So if Whittaker turns around, who's always game, by the way, he's a game fighter. If he turns around and says, "Yeah, let's do it," get anyone. Kevin Holland is picking up that paycheck. I promise you that.
Holland's not afraid to call people out as well, right? Like if he has like a or something like that over Brunson on the weekend, he won't be afraid to sort of call him out. I just thought about while we're sat here as well, you could, I don't know if this will happen, but you could even put that Rob Whittaker Gastelum matchup back together. Gastelum's coming off a win over Heinisch. I'd like to see that fight. That's an interesting fight.
And Gastelum looked a lot better as well. He looked a lot better. And the thing is about Kelvin Gastelum, which I honestly think he sometimes overlooked or sometimes just misunderstood, because he's been around for a minute and he is still young. And the thing with Gastelum is it's quite easy to remember all these fights that he's been in or a couple of losses that he's taken, but look who he's been fighting. Ever since he's got into the UFC, he's fought nothing but the toughest competitors in his division since the first day. So
some killers.
He's an experienced guy now, and we speak about so much about people moving on to their sort of 30s and their later 30s and start piecing together win streaks and starting taking their division on notice a bit more, where that experience sort of combines with their skill level improving. So I think it's a dangerous couple of years for Kelvin Gastelum as well. By no means would I count him out of that middleweight division.
No way. It only takes one fight, you know. Like, I don't know if there's a performance that's aged better than that Adesanya one. If you look what he's gone on and done, and Gastelum was easily his hardest fight. And stylistically, probably like one of the easier matchups for Adesanya, like a shorter strike. So it's impressive. It is impressive. And one more win, and he's definitely a player at 185. Yeah, so there's a lot of pieces that are gonna have to fall into place at 185, and who knows how they're gonna play out. But I'll tell you what, we do know, and one thing we are certain of,
we're gonna find out. As always, peace from Casuals Corner. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you enjoyed what you saw, drop us a like and a subscribe. Helps us to grow our channel and keep things moving.